internet is dropping out, one or the other. Hello, and welcome to Let Me Talk to My Customer. I am your host, Chad Counts, along with my co-host, Richard Tyler. Rich, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, Chad. How are you?
Excellent. I was worried my internet was dropping out as
We got it.
Spectrum.
We got it. We're rocking. We're rolling.
Oh my goodness, Spectrum has been just sporadically throughout the week, just taking a nosedive for 30 seconds or whatever, and then it comes right back. So ISPs, internet service providers, we take them for granted, but they are vital. Thank goodness Lord Musk and Bezos are not able to just flip the switch there. But did you see Elon cruising around in a Cybertruck there in Austin?
I did see. I know he's been in town quite a little bit, overseeing a new factory that's being developed here in Austin.
Yeah, it's exciting both to see from the rocket side of things to the vehicle side of things, all the stuff Lord Musk is doing. Hopefully to the moon and Mars very soon. So anyways, he's exciting. He's one of my favorite public figures, good or bad. He's just an enjoyable person. So all right, here we are. We've got, we did top 5 lies salespeople tell, and we thought, or top 4, I think it was last week. We thought it was only fair to bring it back around. Salespeople aren't the only ones that fib a little too. Our customers at times engage in a little bit of hide the truth and some white lies and some chicanery that we have to pick our way through from time to time. So first, before we dive into that, I want to let you guys know, go ahead and subscribe to either YouTube or our podcast, wherever you find us. If you'd be so kind to leave a review, that would be great for us as well, or like the episode. And also, we hope if you ever need any support, coaching, training, consulting, hiring, whatever the case may be, we're happy to help you out, and we put our links below wherever you find the podcast to make it easy for you guys to contact us. We do have a sales training series coming up this next month that's going to be starting on Thursdays, May 13th, and this is going to be at 7 a.m. to 7:50 in each time zone across the continental United States, Eastern through Pacific. You can participate before work on that Thursday, or you can have members of your team participate during the later sessions as well. So hopefully we hear from more of you guys on that, and we're excited on that 4-week series, Closing Sales. Please reach out to us. It's available for your teams, individuals, and it's meant more for experience to moderate experience level salespeople to help them take their sales to the next level. So hope you guys enjoyed that and will join us on those training. We ran this in the fall and had really good success, really enjoyed doing that with several teams. So the more the merrier on that one. I do think that's a training that in particular works really well across the whole team. And there'll be some interactions that we can do across your team members on those trainings that I think will make it really enjoyable. Okay. So top 5 lies customers tell. So overall, as we get into this, Rich, customers occasionally are going to hide the truth from us or obscure some facts from us.
Sometimes.
Should we yell at them and curse them out and hang up on them when we catch them in these lies?
No, we shouldn't do that, and we shouldn't call them liars either or anything like that. What I really careful to tell people when we start to kind of get into conversations that it is that they're having with their customers, and they go, oh, well, I know this guy and I know he's called, he's telling me he doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
And
always a backstory.
I'm always careful to tell them, okay, that might be the case. And we want to, even if they are fibbing to us, because it does happen sometimes, even if they are fibbing to us, we want to treat it the same way as if they were telling us the truth.
Right. It doesn't do us any good to attack them or be combative or anything like that. And that's not the reason why we're bringing that up this week anyways. From our end as salespeople, we just want to be aware that there are going to be things that are said from the customer side that are not gospel truth, that they could be telling us just because they're feeling out our offer or what we have. And
Right.
it's not, for the most part, that they are trying to be uh, a bad person or anything like that. They're just trying to protect their interests. It tends to be more defensive, in the same way that when we were talking about salespeople last week, salespeople are really just trying to hide the pain, right? Hide something that's uncomfortable. They're not trying to take advantage per se of their customer, but they're trying to see if they can sneak through the sale without giving away something that they don't feel comfortable with. And the customer does the exact same thing. They're typically around a couple of different features, but we'll get into that here. And as we all know, the proper response to customer lying is posting about it on the recycler's Facebook forum, right? And just commenting there. We see it all the time with eBay emails and different things. I think that's a great place to share. It's frustrating when customers aren't truthful with us, or they think they ordered this, and we listen back to the phone call, and no, you ordered it wrong, and that was not our fault. So those things happen. And at the same time, if our customer has a problem, they have a problem. Doesn't matter, even if they're the ones who created the problem, if they're the ones who led into it. Our job is to solve it. Sometimes that means helping them help themselves. Okay. So without further ado, let's jump into our top 5 lies that customers tell.
Okay.
Number 5, requesting an unreasonable price. Okay. So this one doesn't happen the most often, but what is a little bit of the scenario that you're seeing on that? Rick?
Okay, yeah. So this one comes directly from a real life instance of where the salesperson very diligently says, where do you need to be to sell this job, or where do you need to be to get this done? And the wholesale customer replies with a price that doesn't really fit with the marketplace at all, and
Trying to
so
get some sort of budget oriented question.
yeah, exactly. Like, they should have some idea, because I remember this one was from a dealership actually. So they should have some idea already. Anyways, yeah, so they gave him, I think the part was like a $900 part, and the wholesale customer told him something like $500.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's hard to know whether they're just price checking or being aggressive, or
Right.
what it is.
Yeah.
But at any rate, as a salesperson, does it really matter, right? They can request whatever they want. They can request $200 on $1,000 part. It doesn't really matter. The easiest brushback of this, and this is same of whether they're being truthful and that's really their expectation, or whether they're embellishing and they're trying to put us in a
Right.
bad spot.
Right.
Have you been able to find it anywhere for that price? Right?
Yeah.
That's it. That is the only step you need to ask, right? I can want anything I want for whatever price I want. And if I can't find it and buy it for that, who cares? Right?
Right.
What does it matter?
Right. Exactly.
Okay. The number 4, and I think this one is more common. I think sometimes this is really just salesperson perception. I'm not even sure that the customers say this that often. I do think occasionally they say this, but they need it tomorrow. There's this perception that exists in this interaction between wholesale and professional salesperson, where there's an expectation of needing it tomorrow.
I will say that how I come across this is that salespeople will say, I know this guy always needs it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's always has to be next day.
Okay. So here's kind of why I'm putting this in the lie category. Okay. So what is the percentage of salesperson perception? And again, this is partly, I think, salesperson driven. I do think customers request this as well.
Right.
What's their perception on how often their customer needs it tomorrow?
All the time.
Right. I mean, typically, most salespeople think the person needs it tomorrow 80% of the time, right? Like at least, maybe 90% of the time. And so we're unpacking this a little bit, either because salespeople are lying to themselves about the customer, and also sometimes I do think the customers put this out there when this really isn't the case. But here's the other thing. How often does the salesperson close that opportunity that same day?
Rarely.
10, 20, 30%. Depends on
Right.
the year, right? But there's a huge gulf. Whichever way you look at it, there's at least a 40 to 50% gap here
Sure.
where if they needed it tomorrow, they should be making a decision on it today. And there have been so many calls that we hear where there is kind of this expectation of needing the part tomorrow. And then they say, let me talk to the customer, let me get back to you, let me do this, that, or the other. And in my mind, I'm thinking, whoa. These two things both can't be true, right? If you need it tomorrow, you need to make a decision right now. If we're going to process it, deliver it, have it at your shop, you've got to decide right now. So you can't both need it tomorrow and, hey, you want to call me back at X time. Maybe in the morning, maybe early, and they're going to call, you know which customers are going to follow up typically. And it's a low percentage. It's not a lot of them. Most of them who are telling you they need to talk to so-and-so, you've got to follow up with them. Okay. So part of the reason why we're bringing this up is customer lie is this is a perception that salespeople need to be aware of, and they need to be able to overcome it. So just like the unreasonable request of price, have you been able to find that anywhere else? They need it tomorrow. Oh, well, I need to talk to my customer. Okay, well, I just want you to know, it seemed like you needed it tomorrow. If that is the case, we should decide on this today. We have full work order load right now, and typically our cutoff is 3 p.m. to get parts to you next day. But with how busy we've been, I would want to get your part in line right now, right?
Right. Any time that the customer is, saying that they need it tomorrow, again, like we said before, it could be true, it could not be true. We do know that they do lie about this sometimes, so it could be a lie. But regardless, the tactic then should be for us to really put the screws on. That's our chance to be able to move this opportunity forward quickly.
Right.
If that's the case.
Yeah, and there's also a little bit of a sidestep here. Is one of our favorite closes to say, well, I tell you what, I know you're really just confirming with your customer. Why don't we go ahead and get started on this? Have the best of both worlds, right? Let's get started. You like this price. We don't have any problem. It's the only one we have in stock. Might as well get this started, get it on order. That's going to make sure it's yours. Make sure you get it tomorrow. You call me back if anything changes or you need to kill the deal, right? So there's ways to kind of sidestep this, let me talk to my customer or delay, especially when they've already indicated that this is a fairly immediate need. Okay. So, and I think that's more than anything what I want to be after is if they say tomorrow, use that, hold them to it and try and use that to push the sale further. But bear in mind, a lot of times they're saying that when that's not always the case or not, 100% true.
Right.
Okay. These next three all are similar, but I think they have some different perspectives or views on it. And that's part of the reason why we put these in the top three collectively is because I think some combination of these is what salespeople are going to deal with the most. Sure. So number three, just calling around and getting prices. I think this is very common. Sometimes they're calling in and they're saying price and availability, or they're saying, they have some sort of phrase that basically are just saying, oh, I'm just calling around. I'm just asking, that sort of thing. Now, how much of the time is that true, Rich? Because this is one where it's kind of true, it's kind of not true.
Yeah, I was going to say rarely. If they are calling around, maybe it's like on one of those scenarios we had talked about in previous episodes where they don't even own the vehicle or something like that. Maybe like it's a possibility. But if we're talking about something like a wholesale customer, they're probably not just.
Well, or at a minimum, it's more like it's more the belief of where we go with that. We think, oh, okay, they're not going to work. Okay, they're not going to order today. And just calling around and getting prices or price and availability is not the same thing as I don't want to order a part today.
Correct.
Right? For the most part, these guys are busy, right? I mean, we're busy, they're busy. There's a lot going on. And if they can find a part for the right price, it's the right quality, and it's available in the time frame they're looking for, you're telling me they're still going to want to call around, or they're not going to want to process. And that to me is the lie. I think if you can meet everything they need, is your time valuable right now? My time's valuable right now, and I'm sure theirs is as well. Is it worth it to you to, like, how many calls do you want to make on one repair, right? How many points of contact do you want to have on this?
Right.
You know, we've seen back orders and parts not available and limited supply everywhere across the country right now. And it's not just in our industry, right? Lumber's taking a long time. The home projects are delayed. New homes are difficult to build. There's so many supply chain issues. When you get somebody calling around for pricing, you've got to work it. Don't take that as the stopping point, as all they want is a quote, is basically what I'm saying, right? You got to be able to push through and figure out a way. If it's available, if everything else lines up, you would be foolish to just keep calling and keep going. You should pick your order now, right? Okay, number 2.
The lie is, I'm just calling around.
Yeah, I'm not interested in buying. I'm not, don't sell it to me today, nothing like that. So I think and again, that's one that's kind of like number 4, where is it on the customer side, the salesperson side? We both kind of buy into the lie, I think is what it is. I'm not saying one person creates it or the other, but definitely accepting that and letting that be our benchmark is a lie. That should not be where we set our marker or what our objective should be.
Sure.
Okay, Rich, number 2, you're my first call. I feel like how many times did they ever tell us we're not their first call?
No, this is the classic. I mean, they're never going to get out of the gates tell you that you're not my first call. Like, I've been calling around to people, and these are the prices they gave me. It's always, you're my first call. Hey, and I've got good salespeople who I work with who are diligent about asking, hey, have you been calling around on this, or what prices have you found? And those are good salespeople that are asking those questions. And then this is the lie that they're met with. Now, is it a lie? Maybe not. We have to treat it the same way, right?
Yeah.
So
we have to, like, either way, when we hear that, you're my first call, even if they're saying you're my first call, what does that inherently mean, right? They're making other calls, right? So wherever I fall in that skew, I'm not their one and only. This is not an exclusive relationship, right? So when we hear that, we just want to be mindful. We hope that's true. And I do think I've heard customers, and I've heard the rapport that they have. There are some shops where it's like, okay, you're my guy. You're the only guy. But typically they don't need to say that. I mean, it's almost so obvious the way the salesperson and the customer work together that this is a partnership, right? He tells me what he needs or she needs, and I'm there to deliver it. When you get more into this, you're my first call, there's some gamesmanship here usually. Right. This is up for grab. We're not the only ones in town. That right. Whatever. And typically, as a salesperson, do we want to be the first call? Not really. If it's somebody that calls around a lot, I wouldn't be the last call, right? Yeah. I don't want to be the first call, because right. I'm going to be the target. I'm going to have the bullseye if I'm the first right. call. Exactly. So there's parts of this of just like, hey, be aware. If you're in this neck of the woods, you're in this game, talk the game, right? Don't focus just on the part and the price. Say, okay, well, what's going on? What are we working with? Who else has it? What else have you seen it for? Have you called the dealership? Are we looking at new reman? Let's run the gamut. What is this customer really after, right? They're trying to land the job and they're trying to make the most profit. Okay, let's have that conversation. What are your options for making the most money on this repair? Mm-hmm. Okay. And what can I do to help you make the most money on this repair? Mm-hmm. What an honest question from the salesperson, right? Just tell me, how can I help you make money? Right? That's what I'm about. Okay. So that one's kind of a silly one. It's true, I think, some of the time, but even if it is true, it's not necessarily like a helpful thing per se. It's definitely one. It's one of those 50-50. But the way we treat it has got to be like as if they were telling the truth. And so if they were telling the truth, that you were indeed their first call, let's get to how can I help you make money?
How
A
can
lot
we?
of times that's worse, right? I'm your first call. Shoot. Well, who are you calling after me then, right? Like who am I competing with? I want to know.
That's a good question as well. That's not a
Yeah,
bad question. Salespeople should be asking that.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Because I would rather be the one that's pointing the target than the one who has the target on.
Yeah,
Right? So
exactly.
I mean, that's just my perspective. All right. Okay, so that's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, requesting an unreasonable price. 4, they need it tomorrow. 3, just calling around getting prices. Number 2, you're my first call. And number 1, having no price awareness, right? I haven't seen anything. I haven't looked online. Oh, I don't know. I'm just this is I'm just checking out. We're having a hard time just nailing what this is, but basically this is when the customer acts like they have no clue
Right.
what price is out there. How much do you have to spend? Oh, I don't know. What's your budget? When they're elusive, right? So I would put this any customer that is elusive on the basis of price from the outset, especially, and I'm not saying on the retail side, this is mainly on wholesale. When you know they're working typically off of software and estimating systems and everything that's out there, I am hard pressed to believe that anybody calls anybody on the wholesale side without having some sort of price point, without having a reference point.
Correct.
I mean, I just think that would be bad business to do it that way, anyways, right? Um, so Rich, how does this typically manifest itself when you're looking at calls, reviewing calls, and the customer initially gives this sense that they're, not knowledgeable on price or don't have any awareness or mark, and then we come to find out that's not true.
Okay. So again, I work with good salespeople. So they're asking things like, do you know how much these go for? Or do you know where you're looking to be on this? No. What do you got? How much you got it for?
Yeah, it's a lot of that where it's a very direct question about a budget or price, and they that's why it's hard to track down. They all have a different way of dodging that question. So this is really when they're not honest about what their price expectation is. And as a consumer, we've all been there, right? When a salesperson asks us what our budget is or different things like that, there's this immediate alarm bell as a consumer where you say, they're trying to trap me. The only thing that can happen is I put a price out there, it's too high, and then they're going to take advantage of it. So there's this natural elusiveness or deceitfulness of trying to duck this question.
Sure.
And this can take a lot of different forms, right? So how does that end up playing out?
Okay, yeah. So I mean, one of the ways that it plays out is then the customer will try and pull the rug out from the salesperson by saying, "Oh, well, I see such and such has it for $100 less than that," and the customer will try and pull the fast one and pull the rug out from underneath the salesperson by doing that.
Oh, but you have it online for 700.
Oh, that's the other one.
Only package warranty.
The other one. Yeah. Oh, but I see on Cardash Parts shows you got it for $100 less than you just told me.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, that's right. That is with our standard warranty. You can have that available for that. So as the salesperson, I just always want to have a sense, in my opinion, it is better as a salesperson to assume your customer always has a price already in mind. Either they've already seen it from us or they already have something they're working off of, something like that. I want to work as hard as I can not to go into giving my customer a price blind. There's certain situations where I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to do that because they're elusive or they're not giving me that information. And with that, I just want to be aware. Right. I want to be aware when I'm going into that with my warranty offer, when I'm going into it with my service offer. Oh, that's our picked up price. If you want to come in and bring your truck over and pick it up, you can absolutely have it for that price. No problem. If you'd like us to deliver it to your shop, this is the additional fee that goes with that. So there could be any number of reasons why that happens. But the number one time when salespeople step in it is when they step into a price, they embellish it, they fib it, they get, I don't know if it's greedy, but they get aggressive at the wrong time, right? They're not, we need to really uncover when we're opportunistic. Like when we're looking it up and we don't have this part, And in fact, there's very few of them out there. Ding, ding, ding. Why is the customer calling me? Because they can't find it either, right? Okay, so that's a time where they don't have a price point. They don't have anybody they know who typically provides them service that can bring it to them. Okay, you are the guy. You can pretty much name your price. But when you're looking out there, everybody has it, or we have a couple of them, or there should be just a sense of, look, the market's known on this. This is the wrong time to really push that lever.
Right.
I'm not saying don't go for warranty or don't go for delivery costs or anything like that. Those should be on there. Same with core and everything like that. But I don't want to just be needlessly reckless on my screen price. If that's a screen price and that's where the market's at, I need to be aware of that.
Yep.
Okay. So just be conscious of that. If it's a readily available part or a very common part and something that this person would handle all the time, why would you think they don't have some sense? You're a salesperson. You've been in this for how long? How long did it take you to develop a sense of how much a part goes for this, that, or the other? And when you start seeing oddball stuff like, I can't believe that door mirror is $1,000. I can't believe this is whatever. In your mind, you might sit there and think, hey, this is expensive. But if you look it out, oh, man, there's only 3 of them out there. Nobody has, or it's on the late model, right? Like there are rhymes or reasons why parts are priced where they are. It's very rare that prices are just nowhere close, right? I mean, there's a lot of data, a lot of information out there. And if you're a salesperson that's been in this a while, you should be able to pick up on some of these perceptions. And you should know what your customer is likely going to be expecting as well. I had one this week where sales basically is $5 difference in what he quoted and what was listed online. And it was enough to make the whole interaction just went awkward, right? Just wasn't comfortable. Wait, why are you telling me it's $300 when it's $295, right? Like what's going on? And the explanation was just soft, right? But the salesperson lost confidence and just stepped in, right? So there's this sense of, what was the point of that? What did we have to gain in that? We didn't even put enough in there to really make it work going 5 over, right? So just be conscious of that. Okay, your customer is not always going to feel like it's in their best interest to lay all the cards on the table.
Right.
And this is part of the larger discussion. Your better customers, you should be working to where it feels like a partnership. It is easier for me to serve you. Our phone calls will be faster. You will make more money. You will get exactly what you're looking for more often if you're direct with me. Tell me, these are the prices I'm seeing. I'm looking to be right here so I can mark it up $300. Great. I want you to make your money. As your sales rep, if you're not making money, you're going to go out of business, right? That's bad for me. So me selling you parts that you make money on, that's a good price for us, that's perfect scenario, right? So why not work to have alignment? It shouldn't feel like there's this push-pull between customers and sales rep, right? We are aligned. The better my customer does, the better I do. And so we should see it more as a partnership. We should see more of those conversations where the customer understands why it's in their best interest to be direct, to be honest. How can I best help them? And me make that case rather than I'm the salesperson trying to put one over on them. I'm trying to get an extra 5% here, 10% here. And a lot of times, if you're just recognizing the opportunity and pursuing the relationship, you're going to make more in the long run. And there's going to be times where you tell your customer, hey, I can't be the cheapest on this. Understand, there's other people that are cheaper, but you know what you're getting into when you're going after that sort of stuff. I can get you good quality here, right? And there might be other times where typically you don't like to discount too much, but this is your best customer. You're going to take care of them if they need that knuckle or they need something oddball that you don't typically inventory dive into. You work a little harder there. Of course you are, because you're going to provide that value to their company.
Absolutely. That right there is, that's one of those main things that separates the wheat from the chaff. That's the mentality of the elite salesperson, is that it's a partnership. So
yeah, they know that this isn't a $1,000 sale. This is a $15,000 customer a month. This is a $10,000 customer a month, something like that. And so you can look beyond that. Okay, everybody. just a reminder again, we are going to be having a closing series, training that's exclusively on closes, on closing techniques. Going to be repping and rehearsing that. It's a 4-week series. It's starting on Thursdays, May 13th, and we'll be running for 4 straight weeks. And that's going to be available at 7 a.m. Eastern through Pacific time zone. So you can either do that before work, or you can have a few people on during work hours as well. If they want to join a later time zone, they're welcome to do that. So please reach out to us on any of our social media channels. And if you like the podcast, we'd love to hear about it. Any other way we can support you guys? Again, we're seeing more records drop this month. We might not catch our March numbers, but we're not far off.
It's crazy. Everybody's having a great April. I mean, our teams are having a fantastic April. It's great to see.
Year over year, you guys should be smashing it. And if that's not the case, you need to come talk with us and get working with myself and Rich to get your team up to speed. So thank all of you for joining us, and we hope you have a wonderful week. And